Welcome to the Oculus Halftime.
Welcome back to New York City. Your countdown crew here with you for halftime. The Lakers are up 17. Maria Taylor alongside Uncle P, Paul Pierce, Jalen Rose, and Jay Williams. Miami had a 13-point lead in the first quarter, but then the Lakers went on a 25-3 run and never looked back. What changed?
The Heat's half-court defense is non-existent. The Lakers are getting exactly what they want, in particular in the three-point game. As you see a little dribble penetration, AD kicks it to the corner, to Caruso for the three, LeBron James, 2 feet in the paint again, Kyle Kuzma, left corner, Paul Pierce, three-point shot, AD. Danny Green is wide open, Jay Will. You were not enthusiastic about the Lakers defense right there, and LeBron James, easy layup at the paint. The Miami Heat are here because of defensive tenacity. I didn't see it in the first half.
Well, what I see is cause and effect. LeBron doesn't have a lot of points, but when you see him with the ball, everybody's concentrated on him. That's why he has 7 assists. He's getting guys wide open shots. And then when he doesn't get the assist, he's leading to the pass that gets the assist. And that's why they're making so many threes, and that's why they have a big lead.
The Lakers typically play inside out. They've been playing outside in. They shot 65% from the three-point line.
How much?
65%, and they made 11 threes.
Yeah.
That's why they're winning.
Pretty impressive considering coming into this game, they were shooting at 35% from threes, so it helps to knock down 11 threes. Uncle P, that's what you were doing in the
building.
first half? What was Barack Obama telling you?
He was dropping that knowledge. Go out and vote. It's important.
This halftime report is presented by Oculus from Facebook.
Between the Lakers and the Heat. One challenge for the Heat will be protecting the paint, especially against LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They've averaged 20 points combined near the rim this postseason. Over the last 20 years, the only duo to average more entering the finals is Kobe and Shaq. That was back in 2001. It's a season that ended in the duo's second NBA title. And this is where it really gets interesting for Miami. Even with the presence of Bam, the Heat ranked 25th in field goal percentage allowed in the restricted area. But the one positive for the Heat is that they do not allow many shots near the rim, giving up the third fewest attempts per game. Before we dig into the X's and O's, let's talk a little bit of big picture, Woj, because in a lot of ways, LeBron James and Pat Riley have shaped the way we view the NBA now. When LeBron decided to move to Miami and start that super team and began to win championships, and now Pat Riley's doing it a different way because he's having to build through the draft.
Absolutely. LeBron James and Pat Riley fundamentally it changed the NBA a decade ago when Riley put together the big three with LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade, how teams were built, how they went big game hunting. And what LeBron James changed were how players, star players, looked at free agency. And after LeBron James went to Miami, it changed the way how players approached it. They could go where they wanted, when they wanted, and play with who they wanted. And it opened the doors for a lot of other players to make those decisions now. LeBron James back in LA, where Pat Riley started winning titles, and Riley 10 years later with a Miami team that was built far differently than gathering up stars in free agency.
And Jalen, we love to talk about how LeBron ended up in Miami, but we don't talk as much about the fact that he left Miami and what that did to that organization and whether or not that's any point of motivation for Spo and this team going against the Lakers.
I promise you guys, Pat Riley loves coaching Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Dwayne Wade, and Shaquille O'Neal. But if he can't have all-time great players, he loved to have this blue-collar type of team to play against LeBron James, to bring a sense of toughness, to bring a sense of discipline, and a sense of physicality. And I know Paul Pierce loves this. Ain't gonna be no fraternizing. Ain't gonna be no helping the opponent up off the floor. This is gonna be what Pat Riley always wanted when LeBron James decided to leave, is you leaving us to go win a championship. I'm going to show you I can build one without you. I did it before you. I'm going to do it after you. And that's what this is all about.
Listen, nobody expect Miami to be here. I mean, yeah, they work hard and they earned this spot here. But nobody expected that. And just give a hats off to Spoelstra and Riley for putting a team like this together. Jimmy Butler, I mean, how good does he feel right now?
Right.
I mean, making a choice, leaving Minnesota, leaving Philly, and now he's playing in the finals with the Miami Heat. You know, Riley's done it as a coach. He's done it as a GM. Now, let's see if he can do it again.
You know what's interesting, too? You talk a lot about the motivation for the Heat, Eric Spoelstra, proving to the world that, hey, I can win championships without LeBron. You talk about Pat Riles. But also, think about LeBron James. LeBron James knows his ears is always to the street. He listens to what people have to say. He uses that as motivation, right? We talk about it being petty, but we're all petty in a degree when it comes time to be competitive. Remember this line: smiley faces with hidden agendas. That's what Pat Riley said about LeBron James publicly when he decided to go back home to Cleveland to win a world championship. So just know there's extra motivation for LeBron James too, as much as there is for the Miami Heat.
Obviously, LeBron James looking for his 4th NBA title this season and trying to do it against the Miami Heat team that he's very familiar with, an organization that he's familiar with, that he's won titles and MVPs with. But we also talked about Jimmy Butler already. He's getting ready. He's on his bike trying to roll something out. We already invested in Big Face Coffee. Uncle P said he would do it.
If they win the championship, I'm going to be the majority investor.
So Anthony Davis is making his finals debut. He's averaging 28 points this postseason and hoping to lead the Lakers to their 17th championship. Let's head down to the bubble and find out how he's been preparing for the 2020 finals.
You have watched the NBA Finals on TV for basically 25 years.
Yep.
Has it hit you? You're actually now here right in the middle of it all, playing in them?
It hasn't hit me yet.
And the Lakers are headed back to the NBA Finals.
It wasn't a short road for you to get here.
Yep.
You played 7 years in the league. You only made the playoffs twice. You never made it out of the second round.
Yep.
How did that eventually start to affect you to know that you were never there at the end for that NBA conversation where the best of the best battled out?
It bothers me a lot. I mean, because at the end of the day, I want to win. I want to be able to compete for championships on a consistent basis. I want to be able to have those battles with the, league's elite.
Here's Davis for 3 in the win. Oh, it's good! Anthony Davis has won it for the Lakers!
That's where it really kicks in and really where you can make a name for yourself.
There's a little bit of a perception out there that LeBron just kind of buddied up and got close to you in the last couple years when he wanted you to come play for the Lakers. Of course that's not true.
Right.
He has been a big brother to you since you were a teenager. You were a kid at his basketball camps.
Yep.
What do you remember about the first time you met him?
It's crazy because we just talked about this moment last week. Had this little heartfelt speech. And this was right before a game. And I was like, man, if you're a guy that a lot of people looked up to, you inspired a lot of kids. And I was one of those kids. And I told him I remember catching a Greyhound bus from Chicago all the way to Ohio for his camp by myself. I'm 15 years old and getting to his camp and remember yo, that's LeBron James.
This Lakers team has dedicated the postseason to Kobe Bryant. You guys even have uniforms, the Black Mamba snakeskin uniforms. What does that mean to you to be dedicating this to Kobe?
It means a lot. He inspired every single guy on the team. He inspired this entire organization. He is this organization. But when we put those jerseys on, we for sure play with an extra energy and effort because we know that we can't lose in those jerseys. It's like a pride. We cannot lose in those jerseys. And not from, a cockiness standpoint, but more so if we lose in those jerseys, we just feel like we letting him down. We just want to make him proud. And we got 4 more wins to do that.
And if AD keeps playing the way he is, they'll get there. He's averaging 29 points this postseason, by far the most by any LeBron James teammate entering the NBA Finals. Jalen, we did go and double-check Big Z's stats, but this is actually true. It's also the first time James will enter the finals with a teammate averaging more points than him. On the other sideline, though, guys, Bam Adebayo, that's a matchup that we're all looking forward to seeing.
I mean, he rose to the challenge of Game 6. Came up there, dropped a 30-plus point game, really took on the challenge defensively, and he's really a multi-tooled weapon for the Miami Heat, playing inside and out.
And one thing we can't forget is that these players are fighting social injustice while they fight for a championship. As the civil rights leader Diane Nash said, there is a source of power in each of us that we don't realize until we take responsibility.
I love those things.